Ready for Evolution. Brother Eric Teray Muhammad here. Just giving time for us to populate before we get started. It always excites me to be on time. You have no idea what it does for not just a person's soul, but for their word to be on time. Okay. So give us a moment as we get it crunked up here. Let's see what we do to get it going. Brother Caleb, welcome, soldier. How you feeling? Peace and blessings to you. All right, we're sharing on a few platforms. Sister Stephanie Pryor, Aou, good to see you. Sister Cheryl Quarterman, Aou. We'll be sharing on a couple of platforms here today. And so I will place it again on Facebook on our Eric Teray Muhammad YouTube page. Brother Elijah, assalamu alaikum. How are we doing out there in Oregon, brother? What time is it there? Still early morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, family, we're going to keep it going, keep it going. Roz Range, yes, Ready for Evolution. It's necessary because if you don't have range, you don't have Roz. For real, for real. So to the great powers that be in the world of wealth building, in the world of networking, I am honored to have an opportunity to share with you once again. I was asked to do an encore presentation of Massive Action. I was asked to do it through some of the leaders that we work with within our downline, 11 a.m. there, okay, because we have people who make excuses as to why they cannot be successful with something that they do every day. And if we could show how relative it is, how uninvolving or how non-invasive it is to your time, then we'll approach it differently. If we can relate to it as something we do every day and we recognize it, then possibly, hopefully, we'll develop it as a routine. Okay, so Massive Action Plan. Let's start with, first of all, MAP. Okay, a map is a directional. A map is a guide. A map is that which allows you to see one space to another. A map also gives you an observatory. It's a platform by which you can see territories, you can see countries, you can see states, you can see cities, you can see roads. It's an observatory as well as a directional in the event you want to travel to any of these places. That's a map. Sister Lakeisha McKnight, oh man, sister. We are getting so much love from the presentation you did with us on the Gold is Gold, and I'm grateful. Brother Jihad Billups, salam alaikum, soldier. Our Team Kalfani Millennial rock star. Okay, so that's what a map is, generally speaking. But when you look at map in terms of what we mean in wealth building, what we mean in networking, then you'll find that map carries the same type of leverage. It's a guide, it's guidance, okay? It's not the destination, but it points you to the destination. It's not the destination, but it gives you routes, avenues by way you can make the most suitable approach to your destination. All right, Brother Torrey Davis, oh, brother. So listen, in our world of networking and wealth building, MAP is not just a word with a definition, but it's an acronym. Acronym means when you take a letter from each word and that represents something else that makes up the form. So here we're talking about Massive Action Plan. Now, we've been taught to do things in the reverse as a people. I'll give you an example. We go to work, we get a check, we pay everybody else. See, that's reverse thinking. Hey, Sister Sharon, hope the prayers that went up worked well for you. All right, so when we go to work, we earn a living, we get a check. Think about it now. Earn a living, right? But we pay everybody else. We're earning a living, but clearly we're not earning it for ourselves. Marva Berry, good to see you, Queen. We're earning for somebody else because we're not looking to pay ourselves first. So you work, and then instead of giving to you, which should be the first priority, you'll give out to a residual bill. You'll give out to a reoccurring bill. You give out to a reoccurring obligation. You'll give out to comfort gratification, immediate gratification. It might be food. It might be entertainment. It might be cosmetics, hair done, feet, nails done. It might be clothes. It might, apparel. But see, the thing is, we're taught to work the opposite of those who are successful and who are financially secure. So when we go to work and we earn, when I say we, not so much preaching to the choir here, just in a general sense, we never do the first step, which is to pay ourselves first. Likewise, what doesn't resonate with us often is that we always think we have to have the plan first before we take the action. You see, that's reverse logic. Massive action plan. So the plan comes as you work towards what? Not towards your plan. You work towards your goal, your dream, or your vision, and you plan to maintain it, but you work to put out the alert. So massive action. What do we mean by massive action? It's a concentrated effort that allows you to explode onto the scene with your objective. It allows you to explode on the scene. So I'm like, Brother Terrence, I know you enjoyed your homecoming, saw it everywhere, bro. If you take, for an example, and I use this example often, if you take gunpowder, right, and you sprinkle gunpowder from one end of a space to another, and then you light it at that one end, it'll just gradually go along, sizzling, sizzling, sizzling until it fades out, right? But if you took that same amount of gunpowder and instead of spreading it out in a line, just pull it all together in one nice little pile, put a match to it, then what's going to happen? It'll blow up in front of you. You might lose an arm. You see, because it's massive action. It's concentrated effort. And under massive action, you work to do all that you can in the time that you have, and that involves detailing. So I had here one as representing first step. I think we cleared up massive action. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it, but massive action plan. Okay. So your massive action is to do what? Make a list. Make a list. You know, the last couple of days in some trainings we did online and on the phone, I had some business partners who would share with me. They're new, and I understand. Hey, Brother Marcus, I'm like, how you doing? Shannon Wilmer, good to see you. You know, they're new to networking. They're new to the business. I'm new to networking too. I just pay attention to my mentors. I pay attention to what they convey, and I duplicate in order to succeed. All right? So they tell me they don't know anybody. I did an exercise just to show you. Every day, I make a list. This is my list for the month of October. But every day, pages, 100 names. 100 names. I'm not going to give you all my people. But 100 names, front, back. And I do it every day. Okay? I make that list. I make that list because a list will do a few things for you. One, it gives you target audience. 2, it helps you to sort, and I'll explain that. 3, it develops what they say in sales, your pitch or your technique. I'll say pitch here for lack of board space, and I'm not sure if everyone can see it. So making a list gives you a target audience, it helps you to sort, and it helps to develop your pitch or your technique. All right. So when you make a list, now people say they don't know anybody. That gets me all the time. If you're a teenager, you know at least 500 people. All right. And so I did this exercise with one of the business partners, and that exercise actually taught me how I should move from this point on. So this is what I did. I went through my phone. I had them go through their phones. I said, don't just randomly pick people you think will be good, because you can't speak for everybody's pocket or disposition. You don't know what the dream will inspire in them once you articulate what it did for you. You know, so don't try to think with your pocket. Don't try to think for everybody with your pocket. That's a cardinal sin. All right. I had everybody go to the letter A in their contacts list and just write down the names and phone numbers of all those that are in the A. And I literally waited until they were finished. I was working on my list. I was a little past A, but I was working on my list at the time. So I had some downtime with them. We literally sat and did this, family. It took them almost 25 minutes just operating out of the letter A. Because the average person probably has anywhere from 100 to 150 names per alphabet in your contact list. Now, what happens when you write it down as opposed to scrolling up and down? It creates a different sense of energy. It creates a different sense of energy, and it gives retention. All right. So if I'm writing it down and I'm writing the number down, I'm activating the aspect of my brain that doesn't normally work due to technology. See, smartphones have I'll say me. A smartphone has made me dumb. A smartphone, there was a time where if I needed to give you my brother's number or my friend's number or any number, peer, co-worker, it didn't matter. I can call it out to you. I was like a walking directory. Hey, what's so-and-so's number? Eric knows it, and I can spit it right out. Now I got to pick up a phone and scroll and scroll and scroll, and I hope I spelled it right in order to get it. Or even worse, I hope I remember to put the person's name in. But when you commit it, it creates critical thinking. It creates a desire to do the best with what you have. You understand? So when you write the name and you write the phone number, you're committing yourself to make the call. You're committing yourself to alert that person. You're committing yourself to prioritize how and who should be selected on that list. So it's not for you to do from the top of your head. It's an exercise that will duplicate success for you because it will give you a guide to follow up. So you write it out, okay? You write it out. Then after you write it, after you've written your list of names, numbers, you know, then you go back through your list and you pick out the first 20 you want to talk to. Not the 20 that you think could use money or need a job. But you represent something that people who are working, people who understand money or have an idea how money should work, You're appealing to people with the one product that everybody's out there trying to get. Why do you work 40, 50 hours a week? Why do you drive Uber? Why do you drive Lyft? Why do you work in any of these stores? You work to earn a living because the end result should be money. Ladies and gentlemen, the product we have is money. So we cut all of your steps in half. You see, and we have real money. I'm not talking about the paper stuff. I'm not talking about that rectangle. I'm talking about that which leverages the rectangle. I'm talking about that which will extend the rectangle paper. I'm talking about pure gold. Gold is money. Gold is money, you know, and we pull it out every day. And these are just for those who, I'll use this one. Those grams are too big. Oh, that's the wrong wallet. Let me try this one. 5 grams. Okay, here's a couple in here. These are 1 gram cards. Okay, my screen orientation, I'm always off a little bit. This one is a special branding card, WBW, Wealth Builders Worldwide. That's what I am. I'm an affiliate. I'm a member of Wealth Builders Worldwide, affiliate of Karat-Bars International. That's a solid, a gram of gold in the center. Okay. When we started acquiring these cards, here's another. When we started acquiring these cards, they weren't worth nearly as much as they are now. And that was just, for me, just this past, not this past September, but September of last year. Really October of last year. So it gives you an idea of how gold represents an asset. An asset will always appreciate over time, and as a result, it will leverage the cash that you hold on to. Go to my YouTube page, Eric Teray Muhammad, and you'll see the presentation that Mr. Michael L. Dalco made yesterday on holding your assets. It was a very powerful stream. All right, so everything that everyone else is striving for, we already know that we have it. So you don't have to, you can call off today because you're saving in gold and you're paid to hold your own money, right? Okay, so you go through your list and you choose 20 people. Choose the people that you think would not be interested because your mind tells you they've made it. Because your mind tells you that, hold on a second, I'm losing my juice here. Okay. All right, so because your mind tells you, oh, you're thinking with their pocket. When you think with their pocket, you want to approach an entertainer, a celebrity, a sports figure, or someone who seemed well-to-do in their neighborhood all your lives. How many of you have known people that you thought they had it made growing up because you always saw them riding well, smelling good, looking good, hair pristine, shoes sharp, nails always done, pearly white teeth, and you're like, man, he's a talk of the town. That dude is sharp. And you thought they were the creme de la creme. You thought they were the most successful people on the planet. Then you find out later on, they didn't have all that going on. They just wore nice suits to play the role. Or they just enjoyed wearing nice attire. See, all of us have people like that. We judge with our pockets, our purses, our wallets. And that is a mistake. You've heard this saying, never judge a book by its cover. It's the same principle here. You know, you make your list. Brother Rudolph, I'm like a big husband salute to you and to Brother Rocky, man. May Allah be pleased. Yeah, that was my man. So when you make your list, now me, this is what I mean by massive. I make a list of 100 people every day. Every day. I may not hit the mark every day, but I strive to do it every day. Why? Because I always want to be prepared for the next step when I take that portion of time that's available to me for massive action. So massive action, when I get started with my prospecting, with my reaching out to people for opportunity, with my trying to gain interest in our videos or our presentations, I don't use that time to make the list. I'm ready to go. So if 10 o'clock hits and I got 15 minutes, I got 15 minutes to call 100 people. I call as many people as I can in that 15 minutes. And then if they are looking for a presentation, I send them the presentation however they want it. I can text it to them. I can email it to them. I can instant message over their social media platform, however they want it. And I make note next to the name, date, time, and what I did. I text the presentation. I direct message the presentation. I email the presentation. Okay? And I leave room for myself to follow up with them in a couple of days. You see, I used to follow up within a couple of hours, but that was a couple of thousand affiliates ago. So it gets a little more difficult to do it that way, but you still have to build your teams. All right, so you make the list, pick 20 out of the 100 that you think has an understanding that will allow them to run with it. Now, here's the other part. When you pick in that list, you're not looking for them to make the decision right then. Understand what we're saying. When you call people, now you're fired up, right? You're fired up because you found an opportunity. You found a situation where you can exchange your paper dollars for gold, and you hold the gold, and you get paid for holding your own money. That's a phenomenal concept. You don't have to clock in to do it. You don't have to wake up at a special time to do it. You don't have to be in a special place to do it. All you have to do is exchange some of your paper dollars for gold and get paid to hold your own money. You can do it at any hour of the night. You can do it anywhere on the planet, anywhere on the map. Time freedom, location freedom will yield financial freedom, but they're all steps. They're all steps. So when you call people and you, for lack of a better term, no, I'll give you a better term, when you appeal to them with an opportunity, you're asking them if they have time to take a look at it, because you really don't have time to stay on the phone. Why? You have 100 people to reach in 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever time you designated for yourself, right? So when you do this, look, man, I know your time is valuable. I don't have a lot of time. I just need to know, I have an opportunity for you. I can text it to you. I can email it to you. How would you like it? Hey, do you look for more ways to make money? Or do you look for ways to make more money, rather? Hey, are you wanting to keep your financial options open? Great. Let me get a contact for you. I'm going to send this to you right now. Or rather, I have a contact for you. Just let me know, how would you like me to send it to you? I can text it. I can email it. You know, I can direct message it. Some people still have faxes, ladies and gentlemen. Some of y'all don't even know what a fax is. I'm not saying fact, F-A-C-T-S. I'm talking fax, F-A-X. It's an old thing. It's an old thing. Don't worry about it. So, you know, and then you keep moving. And you give them time to look at it. And you give yourself adequate time to follow up with them and be comfortable with the decision you made to follow up with them. Express the time by which you look to follow up with them, and then keep your word. Follow up. If you see you're approaching a point where you can't get back to them on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, you might want to reach out to them early and say, hey, listen, I just realized I have a conflict in schedule. I won't be able to get to you by 2 o'clock Wednesday. How about such and such a time? Or do you have time now? You see, those are the things that people will remember. People will remember your commitment to time, because if you commit to time, you're respecting theirs. And that is valuable to people in a society when they're being made to work 40, 50 hours a week, 30, 40, and some 50 years of their life. Time is a precious commodity. That's created by the same God who created gold. You put them together, you have freedom. Okay, so you make your list. All right, now what do I mean by sort? Pretty much what I just said. When you go through your list, look to see who's there, who had money, who has influence, who has outreach. You see, look to them. Another point was raised when I raised that point to the team a few days back. And it was a valid point. How do you talk to somebody about making more money when they're already living the lifestyle of their dreams? That's a great question. How many of y'all think that's a great question? I know it's a great question. All right, I'm gonna give you the answer. I'll give it to you this way. Al Capone in history was one of the largest gangsters in his time, next to the government, of course, next to the bankers, of course. Al Capone depended on both government and bankers, whether it's city government, state government, or federal, and he depended on the bankers to get away with doing the evil and the crimes that he committed. But Al Capone reached a ceiling. When you read his history, he reached a ceiling where he accomplished everything materially that you can possibly accomplish in life. And when he hit that ceiling, he only knew one way to go. So he would find alternative pleasures in the most foul, vicious, and extreme of ways, because his ceiling didn't allow him to see the greatness of his accomplishments, and didn't allow him the heart to give back to people that he received his coffers from. When you have people who are great singers and dancers, and they're celebrated for their sportsmanship and athletics, and they may be people who attain a certain lifestyle, and we know that we have not yet reached that point. That could be a little intimidating. It might turn you off from even reaching out to them, even though you may know them. I was traveling with one of our business partners in Alabama recently, and I sat with the mayors of their city. And this gentleman grew up with that mayor, but he was sort of gun shy and approaching about the opportunity because he felt like the mayor knew too much about him. And it turned out that the mayor had forgotten more than he himself remembered. We put too much of ourselves on an opportunity that frees everyone. Anyway, so what do you do? Where do you go with people who have attained a lifestyle? Ask them a question. See, you're interviewing people as you're prospecting people. Ask the question, if you could accomplish one thing, if you could have the one thing that you don't have right now, what would that be? If there was something you were looking to do beyond all that you've accomplished for yourself, what would that be? And I guarantee you, you'll get an opening by which you can introduce the avenue of how your opportunity can help support their dream. See, people who have reached that ceiling, what eliminates the ceiling? Bigger dreams. Bigger dreams. And the one thing that celebrities don't have is time. Everybody's pulling on them. They always need security. They can't go into a restaurant by themselves. They can't go to a movie with their family. They can't just hang out in the park. They just, everything is so involved because of their public stature. There's so many layers, it exhausts them just to get started with their day, even though they loved singing once upon a time. They loved playing sports once upon a time. Now the love is stripped from it because people are so into them. They don't have time to get into themselves or learn themselves. So you appeal to these people. Yes, Sister Renee, the Fortune 5s, the CFOs, the doctors, the presidents of companies, you appeal to them. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all have something that ticks, right? We all have passions and dreams, but we also know that the road they took is a road that divorced them from dreaming. Ben Franklin says, you live until you're 18 and you're buried at 65. So between 19 and 65, what happened with your life? You just existed. Vince Carter's in Atlanta. I watched him play basketball last night with the Atlanta Hawks. Philadelphia got the best of them. It was a great game. And he had the opportunity to win the game. He almost pulled it off. It just wasn't his night for that. But this man is 42 years old. He's the oldest playing member of the NBA, 22 years in the NBA, active, running up and down courts. That's a lot of wear and tear. A lot of wear and tear. You look at people like brother just retired, Dwayne Wade, and you look at Kobe Bryant before him. These are people who now, after those careers are done, you ask the question, well, what is your end game? How do you like to be remembered? What is it that you would like to do? You see? So that was part of the question that came up in that format, because we excuse ourselves out of success. So to take massive action is very simple. You make your list first, a physical list. Because when you make the physical list, then you want to physically do the work. It's a natural progression. I write a name, I write a phone number, now I dial. I write a name, I write a phone number, I dial, now I record the follow-up. You see? If you don't do that, however, if you just pick up a phone and scroll and scroll and scroll, you'll miss daily probably 60 to 70% of all the people you could have made a connection with. When I first began this part, when I understood what massive action meant, and I knew I needed to take it because I knew I needed some currents, I didn't reach out to 100 people a month or over the course of a year. I chose 100 people every day for the first 7 days. And then inside the 6th and 7th day, I did the follow-up, because the follow-up allowed me to know where they wanted to proceed. But wait, in the follow-up, if the interest was piqued, then I reached out to the upline to do what was known as a 3-way call. And I edified the upline. Now, for those who might be, I guess, neophytes or new to this, let me explain a little bit what that means. When you have, I call it Operation Peak and Pass, Brother Carlito and I talk about it a lot. When you have a prospect, potential client, and you've piqued their interest, and you're new, you may not have the full answer they're looking for. And because they know you're new, if you're dealing out of a warm climate, meaning people that you know, they already know you and know that you have not been at this long. So you reach out to your upline, someone who is a little more knowledgeable than you, someone who has a greater understanding of the opportunity, its nuts and bolts, its nuances. Or they might be someone who has the same understanding as you. I hope not. I hope it's greater. But when you bring them on, you edify them. Hey, Brother Lamont, I want to introduce you to Khalid Muhammad. Khalid Muhammad, for the last year, has been successful in establishing this platform, California Radio, and now he's consistently broadcasting 4 continents strong. And because of that, he can help you understand he can answer some of those questions you have about establishing your network, your broadcast system. So, Mr. Carlito, this is Mr. Lamont, Mr. Lamont, Mr. Carlito. And then I get quiet and I pull out another pen and I pull out some more paper and I take notes while they dialogue. I learned in that process, but look what it did for you with your prospect. That prospect respects you now so much more and trusts you even greater because you are willing to remove yourself from the picture and give him somebody with another level of brilliance that eventually you'll have, another level of expertise of course of what you will have. And that prospect will say, man, he or she trusts me that much, they appreciate me that much to give me somebody who has that kind of stature in the company. Yeah, man, I can trust him. I can trust her. So in edifying someone else, it edifies you, because in networking, you cannot be successful if you don't help someone help themselves. You can't be successful if you don't help people, because our business is the people business, building business. Okay, like Brother Torrey says, you help others achieve their dreams. All right. Now, when you make your list, it helps you develop your target audience because you have the group of people in front of you that you're going to go after, right? Then it allows you to sort, because as you go through your list, or even as you're writing it down, you don't stop though, you're writing it down. But if you see somebody, oh yeah, he's a good one to reach out to for whatever reason, you put a little asterisk or star next to the name, because you know that one represents the one of the 20 that you're prioritizing to reach out to in your massive action for the day. So after you comb through your list and you prioritize who you reach out to, right? It's going to allow you to sort, because that's what you're doing. When you prioritize, you're sorting, okay? But the next thing that it does, it develops your technique and or your pitch. You get to make mistakes. You get to stutter and fumble through your words. You get hit with questions that you want to follow up with, but you just don't know how just yet. But you're honest about it, and they appreciate that in you. Okay, but you also commit yourself to making sure they get the answer they're looking for. You don't just fly off the seat of your pants, of those who wear pants. All right, so those things develop. And what happens when you become so strong in your technique over phone? You have no problem talking to people in social media. You have no problem addressing crowds. You see, because what the technique does, it gives you vision. When I say it gives you vision, it helps you build your future. And that's where the plan comes in massive action plan. Because when I look at a woman or a gentleman, and I look at them, and I'm blessed to be a part of bringing them to the fold of wealth building, I don't see just them. When I look at that person, I'm looking at 10, 15 behind him, because that's generational wealth that you're offering to them as an opportunity. And as I look behind them, I look into the one who is already on autosave, and I go to that person and show them how much I appreciate the fact that they embrace the idea of saving gold and getting paid to hold their own gold. And then I'll ask them, who are the 2 or 3 people that you would like to reach out to make available to this opportunity? I would love to do that for you on your behalf. That's how your teams grow and explode. But it all starts with massive action in order to get to the point where you have a plan to go beyond yourself. So last point, and I appreciate your indulgence of me. Hey, Brother Minister Jamil Muhammad, man, I need to call you. I had a meeting here in Atlanta last week that I need to follow up with you on. So, massive action. During our month of Ramadan, which is a Muslim month, a holy month, where we fast and pray, I did a live stream called Fast, Pray, and Save. All right. And that stream, which is on my YouTube channel, but that stream spoke to how during the fasting month, I saved a lot of money. When I wasn't eating chips all day or candy bars or drinking coffee all day, where did that money go? Because you don't have the same appetite in the evening when the sun comes down as you did while you were moving throughout your day. So where does that money go? You see, you get to see just how much we waste. Brother Larry Wiggins Bay talks about it often, about how we're not lacking because we don't have money. We lack because we don't have a plan for the money. So during that month, the $3 per coffee that were being spent and drinking it 3 or 4 times a day, that's anywhere from $9 to $12 a day. I say, if you took 3 cups of coffee at $3 a cup, that's $9 a day, 7 days a week, that's $63. That's a gram of gold. And when I started measuring everything like that, I started measuring it with clothes. I started measuring with, you just name it. Anything that I considered frivolous, it was now going to be moved towards a package of gold. It's going to be more towards cash gold. It's going to move towards saving a gram of gold. So now in that month, I was able to save weekly as opposed to just monthly in that particular month. It was an explosive month because many in my downline duplicated what I was doing. So when you look at the power in what you have in making your list, when you look at the power in what you have in making the connection, because we're in the people building business. When you look at the phenomenal growth that you'll enjoy, because you moved from moving like that one line of gunpowder, and in turn, you decided to compound the gunpowder and put the match to it at one time and let it go. You see, your business will explode. So if you only have 15 minutes a day, if you only have 30 minutes a day, if you only have an hour in a day, test it, try God. If you have an hour in a day, use that hour to prospect, present, close. Prospect, present, close. That's all you do inside that hour or inside the 15 minutes. Whatever time you designate. But you don't use that time to get your stuff together. You get your stuff together before then. Remember, all this is October. All this is October, front and back. Make your daily list. When I found that I had approached awarded the 5 and 5 designation, my wife and I both, whose birthday is today, by the way, so y'all shout out Sister Falami, wish her a happy birthday. She's 18. She's finally legal. All right, so within the first 5 weeks of Karatbars, I had a bronze package. Then I was awarded a silver package. Then my wife was awarded a gold package. And we kept moving and moving and moving up within the 5 weeks. So we became Mr. and Mrs. 5 and 5. Minister Jamil labeled us Mr. and Mrs. 5 and 5. And my first, that in week number 6, myself, my wife, her sponsor, Sister Jai, we were all in Maryland. And we met Mr. Best and Mr. Dalco for the first time, or she and I did. And the funny thing about it, Mr. Dalco's down the block, but I had to go to Maryland to meet him anyway. We get there. And I hear Mr. Best for the first time. And this is the quote that I always celebrate with everyone. He said to me, any man can count the amount of seeds in an apple, but only God can count the amount of apples in a seed. You see? So we put that all together. Our line and our teams exploded. And then we went to Let's Go Weekend and we brought members of our team to Let's Go, and we exploded from Let's Go Weekend 8 all the way into Let's Go Weekend 9. So in that 5-month time span between April and September, we went to 19 cities. Some we repeated. And in those cities, we kept growing teams and building in depth, educating ourselves, offering the training to people. Because listen, there are a lot of orphans out here. There are a lot of people who are part of Wealth Builders and don't know why they came. You know, they don't know how to get started. They don't even know, there's a login, but they know they're a part of something great. And so we were fortunate, Brother Carlito and I, Team Kafani Radio as well. We hit the cities, and we went north, south, east, Midwest. We didn't discriminate. And then this Let's Go Weekend, I forgot how many people he brought with him, but I had nearly 40 in my downline that came from the right side and the left side of my dual team. Where do you think I'll be come April 2020? As well as those who came with me, who brought people with them. Where do you think they'll be? And with the failing of an economy, the failing of a monetary system, the fact that we have options where you can now literally, physically, tangibly opt out of economic slavery, economic bondage, and gain financial freedom, location freedom, I left out there, and time freedom. Ooh, gracious. What do you think the people will do now? So make your list. You committed to your physical writing, you're automatically committed to your brain. You're committed to your heart. You perform it out of priority. You select priorities. Then you move on to make the calls. And as you make the calls, it will develop your pitch. It will develop your technique. It will develop your confidence. It will increase your courage to move forward with one of the greatest opportunities outside of the knowledge of God. That's what we got, family. We'll see us in, what week is this? I will see us in Tennessee next month. I'm in Macon this weekend, Tennessee next month for a couple of weekends. I believe Philadelphia. We come back to do a presentation in Atlanta. We'll get the date on that. We're doing webinars. We're doing 3-ways. Reach out to your upline. Utilize your upline. Put yourself in a position where you can gain the benefit of the support that's always been there for you. There was no one that I met with over the last week that could tell me that 24-hour, 7-day-a-week support was not there for them. Because Wealth Builders Worldwide, we have mywbw.net. We have the power calls. We have the freedom calls. We have the fast track training. We have the Tuesday night and Thursday night sessions. We have our uplines. We have our live events. A plethora of videos on YouTube, on Facebook, streaming everywhere. You have some rock stars out there right now. I tell anybody on the planet, Sister Alicia Minto is tearing it up. Not just in Connecticut. She and her husband are working from Connecticut, but they are tearing it up. Sister Janetta and Brother Mustafa in Plainfield, New Jersey, tearing it up. Whole world is reaching out to them. Big ups to my new business partner I see on the line. I've been talking so long, I forgot the name just that quick. But Brother Zion Samuels, out of Napoli, Italy, is on the line. Welcome, brother. Welcome. I saw your message there. Thank you, Sister Renee. www.mywbw.net. Go to it. Log in. If you don't have a login, register a login for that page. That is your Bible. That's your virtual Bible. It's your book. That's where you'll find the map. That's where you find your guide. That's where you find your resources, from everything from technical support to your brother and sister right in front of you. Thank you, family. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your time. I am your student teacher because I'm still learning as I go. But I can prove everything that I've said. Big shout out to Seth Frazier. I appreciate you, brother. I will see you this weekend. All right, family. Peace and power. Ready for evolution. Assalamu alaikum.